Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. We were having a technical issue. Our camera wasn't working, and thank you so much for bearing with us. Uh, so, this live is very important to us. So, thank you so much for waiting patiently for us to appear. Let's begin. All right. I hope you're excited. So, today's tale is called The Hypnosis Havoc. All right, I'm just quickly going to address all of you. Good evening, Arya. Welcome. Welcome to the rest of you. Jyoti, I hope you enjoy this class. All right. The rest of you, you can put down your names also so that I know your names. And in case you have any questions about what I'm teaching, don't worry. You can put it down, but I will address it at the end of the session, if that's all right. Hello, Amira. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Let's begin. The Hypnosis Havoc. That's the name of the story, The Hypnosis Havoc. All right. So, in case somebody comes in late and asks the name of the story, please put it down in the chat for them. It's called The Hypnosis Havoc. So, let's look at this word hypnosis. It's pronounced hypnosis. And the person who does hypnosis is called a hypnotist. All right. So, this is what a professional hypnotist looks like. All right, so hypnosis. When you're placed under hypnosis, you're basically in a mental state like sleep, in which your thoughts and your actions can be controlled by someone else. So if a hypnotist hypnotizes you, all right, they'll put you in this mental state, which is like sleep, and they can control your actions as well as your thoughts. All right. So that's hypnosis. And this person is called a hypnotist. It's not hypnotist, it's hypnotist. Hypnosis and hypnotist. All right, so the story is Hypnosis Havoc. So in this story, because of the practice of hypnosis, there's going to be a lot of havoc. So, havoc is a state of great disorder and confusion. All right. Lots of disorder and confusion is going to take place in this story, as the title tells you. And some other words for havoc are commotion and mayhem. All right. The words appear here. You can take them down if you like. Or, tomorrow we may prepare a PDF for you in case you like. But writing them down does help. All right. So there's havoc, there's commotion, and there's mayhem. So try and repeat them after me as well to improve your pronunciation. It's havoc, commotion, and mayhem. And all these three words mean a state of great confusion and disorder. All right? So, children, yes, you're absolutely right, Arya. There's brouhaha. So Arya has given us another word. Arya is a brainy brat who's attending this class. And another word for all these words is brouhaha. Brouhaha, in case you'd like to put it down. So yes, I'm reading all your names. Welcome. Let's continue with the story. It all started when I was reading a comic that said you could hypnotize chickens by staring them in the eye and making chicken noises. So, this child named William, the name of the main character, the protagonist of today's story, is William. And William has read a comic which tells William that if you look at a chicken and you make chicken noises, the chicken gets hypnotized. Well, it was worth the try. My dad had this chicken called ramen. It used to win ribbons at the show. So ramen was no ordinary chicken. And yes, the chicken's name was ramen, like ramen noodles, like the noodle dish. And ramen was such an extraordinary chicken that it used to win ribbons at the show. So there was this show where people could bring their birds, and dad had this pet called ramen, all right, a pet chicken, and ramen was so impressive that ramen would win ribbons. He kept ramen in a cage in a garage, and gave it nothing but the best to eat. Dad loved ramen. So Dad adored ramen. It was a smart chicken, I have to admit that. You probably won't believe me when I tell you that ramen could understand English. Ramen, Dad would say, count to four. Ramen would peck on the cage 4 times. No kidding. So if Dad would say count to four, Ramen would go peck, 4 times. All right. So it would understand sound. It would understand numbers and it would make this sound. So it was a brainy, intelligent, gifted, very smart chicken. Anyway, I wanted to try the hypnosis because it would be great to hypnotize a chicken. I sneaked out to the garage and let Ramen onto the floor. So he pulls Ramen out of the cage. Then I did what it said in the comic. I stared straight into Ramen's eyes. Puck, 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 I said. It didn't work. Still, I decided to give it one more try. This time I changed my pitch. So William changes his pitch. I made my voice higher, more like a chicken's. I went. Let's see what happens. Well, you wouldn't believe it. The silly chicken froze like a statue. All right? So he's hypnotizing Ramen, and Ramen froze like a statue. Its eyes went all glassy. All right? It looks absolutely glassy. I'll show you what it looked like. So its eyes become wide and they look like marbles. They look absolutely frozen. It stood as still as a rock. Not a blink. Not a movement. Hypnotized! I had done it fantastic! So Ramen here is in a trance. All right, Ramen is in a trance. So a trance is basically a mental condition in which someone is not completely conscious or in control of themselves. So if you hypnotize someone, they're not in control of their actions and their thoughts, right? They are put into a trance. If you hypnotize someone, they're put into a trance. So a trance is a mental condition where someone is not in control of their thoughts or their actions. All right, so that's a trance. So it's absolutely still, right? It's not moving. It's absolutely rigid, stiff. It's in a trance. I walked around at the staring chicken. I walked around and around the staring chicken. So he walks around it, right? He's observing it. I poked it with my finger. So William kept poking it. It still didn't move. I grinned to myself. I could hypnotize chickens. So William is very excited because he thinks he's becoming an expert at hypnosis. Maybe this would make me famous. I could go on TV. People would pay good money to see the boy who could put chickens into a trance. So he is very excited because he hypnotized the chicken. He thinks he could go on TV and become famous. He thinks he's going to become a famous, renowned, and eminent hypnotist. All right? These are two other words for famous. They're renowned and eminent. Renowned and eminent. So if you're renowned or eminent, you are famous. All right? Still, Dad wasn't going to like it very much. He wouldn't win ribbons with a chicken that just stared. So now this chicken wouldn't win any prizes, right? Because all it's doing is staring because it's in a trance. So now if you tell Ramen, come on, count to 5, it won't go, pack, 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 pack. No, it'll just stay like this, right? See, we are looking the same. All right, so Ramen is in a trance. Yes, you're absolutely right. Almost like sleep paralysis. Yes, it may seem like that. Absolutely right. Vishwas. Put down your real name as well. Some of you have joined from your parents' accounts. You can put down your real name if you'd like me to address you with your real name. All right, let's continue. The back door banged. I could hear Dad. And now William starts panicking. I clicked my fingers at the chicken. He snaps his fingers. Okay, Ramen, Okay, you can snap out of it now. So he tells Raman, come on, snap out of it. So to snap out of something is to stop experiencing something unpleasant. To stop experiencing something unpleasant. So he's telling Raman, come on, you're hypnotized. Come on, snap out of it. Come out of the hypnosis. All right, come out of this state. Snap out of it. Come out of this unpleasant state. But Raman is in a trance and Raman is not snapping out of it. I tried something different. When I say bananas, I said to Raman, you will wake up. You will not remember anything that has happened. So now William is trying something. He's telling Raman, come on. I'll say bananas and you're going to snap out of it. Yes? I took a deep breath. Bananas! But Raman just stared. Raman continued to stare and stay in a trance. Right? I picked him up and looked into his eyes. Speak to me, Raman, I said. Right? So he's trying to make these chicken noises and get Raman to talk to him. I gave him a vigorous shake. So he shakes him vigorously, right? Forcefully. Vigorous is forceful. So he says, come on, Raman, come on, bananas, say something, do something. But Raman is frozen. Raman is in a trance. Dad's footsteps came towards the garage. Oh no, I said. I grabbed Raman and my school bag and left out the back door. Now, obviously, this child, William, is very unnerved, right? When you're unnerved, you're very anxious. You've lost all your courage and confidence. Just a moment ago, he was saying, oh, I'm going to be famous, I'm going to be renowned, I'm going to be eminent. But now, Raman is not coming out of a trance. So now he's unnerved, he's anxious, right? He's absolutely worried about what's going to happen, what dad is going to say. So he runs away, right? He grabs Raman and runs away. Dad was going to be mad when he found out that Raman had gone. So dad was obviously going to be very, very angry when he finds out that Raman had disappeared. Now, if you came for last week's live stream, you already know some of the words I'm about to show you, right? They're not included in these 60 words, but I'm just repeating them here for those who are attending today. So last week, we learned some words for angry. So dad would be angry if he sees that Raman has disappeared, or even if he sees that Raman is in a trance. Either way, he's going to be angry. So dad would be infuriated, incensed, enraged, fuming, outraged. So the two new words we're learning today for angry are fuming and outraged. We've already learned the first three, right? So infuriated, incensed, enraged, fuming, outraged. Right? To remember these words, maybe you can say them with an angry expression on your face, right? Okay, so repeat after me. Infuriated, incensed, enraged, fuming, outraged. All right? So, yes. So dad would be all of these words. And if I couldn't get it out of its trance, it might die of starvation. Now, William is in a fix because if he doesn't take care of Raman, if he doesn't bring Raman back to Raman's normal state, right? If Raman continues to be in this trance, Raman could die of starvation. All right, if it doesn't eat and doesn't drink anything, it could die. So this is scary what's about to happen. Let's see. I made my way to school with the frozen fowl tucked under my arm. F-O-W-L, fowl, refers to bird. So he takes the frozen Raman, he tucks Raman under his arm and goes to school. What have you got there? Said a loud voice. It was Sam, my best buddy. It's Raman, I said. So Sam says, oh wow, how did he die? Right? So Sam is saying, oh my God, he's frozen, he's probably dead. So Sam says, oh, how did he die? No, Sam, he's not dead. He's hypnotized. And I can't bring him back to normal. So William says, no, Sam, he's not dead. He's just hypnotized. I hypnotized him. So Sam says, no, no, you're joking. Right? They've reached the school gate and now Sam thinks that William is joking. So William says, no, no, it's true. I'm a hypnotist. I did it. Okay, said Sam. Hypnotize me then. So Sam says, come on, you've got to hypnotize me. I looked around the school ground. Kids were staring at me because I was standing there with a frozen poultry under my arm. Right? So poultry, right, refers to a bird that is bred for its meat and eggs. Right? Poultry refers to bird basically. And a poultry farmer, all right, we call a poultry farmer, by this term because poultry refers to birds that are bred, that are raised for their meat and eggs, right? So Sam is saying, I'm holding this frozen bird, this frozen poultry under my arm. And kids were standing there. They were staring at me. They were wondering why I'm holding this frozen bird, probably this dead bird. All right, I said, but first I have to hide ramen. So he says, Sam, I'm going to hypnotize you, but first we are going to hide ramen. So first they hid ramen. After we hid ramen, Sam said, come on, get on with it. Put me in a trance. So Sam says, come on, start. A group of kids gathered around. All right, so William begins to hypnotize Sam. They're standing together and Sam says, come on, start. And a group of kids is standing around. You may not see them in this picture, but they're standing around. They were all scoffing at me. So the other kids are in all likelihood making fun of William, right? They're scoffing at William. They don't believe that he's a hypnotist. So they're scoffing. That means they're teasing. They're mocking him, right? Scoffing means teasing and mocking. They're saying, oh, he's making up stories. What a liar. What a loser. So they're mocking him. And other words for scoffing are deriding and ridiculing, right? Scoffing, deriding, and ridiculing. All right, repeat, children. Scoffing, deriding, and ridiculing. So while William is doing this to Sam, the other kids are teasing him, mocking him, scoffing at him. So they wanted to see me hypnotize Sam. They didn't really think I could do it. And even I wasn't sure. So even William wasn't sure that he could actually hypnotize Sam. You see, so far, he's only hypnotized a chicken, right? And he's not sure if he could hypnotize a human. So let's see what happens next. I took a silver pen from my pocket. So you see, William on the left is holding a silver pen. Follow the tip of the silver pen with your eyes, I said to Sam. Sam did as he was told. He had a big grin on his face. So Sam is enjoying this. He's grinning. He's smiling broadly. Suddenly, the grin disappeared. At first he's smiling, then suddenly it disappears. His eyes become glassy. He stared to the front. Sam was as solid as a statue. Even he's in a trance, right? Was Sam fooling around? I didn't know. I couldn't be sure. He was always a sort of kid who was always playing jokes. So children, those of you who are in Brainy Brats, you know a word for a person who is very humorous, very playful, likes to joke around. Yes. And here's a little bit of a clue. This word was in the Father Masterclass. So if you know this word, please put it down in the comments. Come on, go. And I'm going to continue with the story. So, William hypnotizes Sam. Sam is in a trance, and then William tells Sam, you are a chicken. Behave like a chicken. Okay, let's see what happens. Sam jumped to his feet and started crowing like a rooster. So he starts behaving like a rooster. All right, let's pause. Very good, Arya. Jocular. Roshni, jocular. Mayuri. 63 reacts. Yes, jocular. Absolutely right. Prachi, Narang, all of you hit the nail on the head. Very precise, perfect answer. Jocular. The word that I was looking for is jocular. So Sam, right, William's friend, is a jocular boy, a very playful boy. And he starts behaving like a chicken, right? He's sitting here on his haunches, right, like this, and he's saying, right, he's crowing like a rooster. He was very good. He sounded just like a rooster. The kids all gasped. They were impressed. So the kids, they were laughing, but they were all impressed. They said, "Oh my God, William hypnotized Sam." And that's why he's behaving like a chicken. He's crowing like a rooster. All right? Yes, Shlok. Thank you. Absolutely right. Your answer was perfect. So now William is not sure. I had a feeling that Sam was tricking me. So he wonders if Sam is just playing around, if Sam is being jocular, playful, humorous, all of these things. So now William has to make sure. So he tells Sam, "Sam, when I count to three, you will be your old self. You will not be a chicken anymore. But whenever you hear the word no, you will be a chicken again for 30 seconds. So he says that now I'm going to count to three. Once I count to three, you come back to being Sam. But whenever you hear the word no, whenever someone says no to you, you will transform into a chicken for 30 seconds. For 30 seconds, you will flap your arms. You'll go like this and behave like a chicken. All right? Sam was just opening his mouth to start crowing again. He was just about to go quack. I had to be quick. 1, 2, 3. Sam shook his head and blinked. He was back to normal. So he was back to normal. He stops being in a trance. He stops behaving like a chicken. "What happened?" asked Sam. He really didn't seem to remember. I smiled to myself. I was a hypnotist. So William is very excited because, he's a hypnotist. Yes, he wants to be a famous, renowned, eminent hypnotist. And he's just happy that he can even hypnotize humans, right? And he's thinking to himself that if anybody messed with me, I'm going to make them think they are worms. I'm going to hypnotize them and make them think they are worms, and life is looking good. So he is very happy. But not for long. Let's see what happens next. We went into our first class. So they walked in, and their first class was mathematics. How many of you like mathematics, children? Please put it down in the comments. Do you like mathematics? So they had mathematics with a teacher called Mr. Spigot, right? This is Mr. Spigot, right? Spiggot, Mr. Spigot, right? So does Mr. Spigot look like a very friendly teacher to you? Does he look like a very warm-hearted, tender-hearted teacher to you? So please let me know in the comments, right? So a lot of you have said you like mathematics. You love mathematics. Wow. All right. But tell me, would you love mathematics if your teacher looked like this? I'm not making fun of his appearance. I'm saying he looks very angry, right? He looks very grouchy. He looks very irritable. Like the smallest thing could irritate him. So some of you are saying, no, you would not like to do mathematics with Mr. Spigot because he's very grouchy. Grouchy means very irritable. You get irritated very easily, right? He's not a tender-hearted teacher. He is a stone-hearted teacher. You're absolutely right, Mayuri. Thank you. Okay, let's continue. So Mr. Spigot was a very mean, bad-tempered teacher. So let's learn some words for bad-tempered and mean-spirited. So he's a spiteful teacher, he's an ill-natured teacher, and he's a malicious teacher, right? Let's find out why. So if you hadn't done your homework, you had to stand up and be yelled at. 3 girls were expelled because of him. So he would yell, he would holler, he would screech at his students. He was so bad-tempered, he was so spiteful, he was so ill-natured and so malicious, right? So remember, when someone is bad-tempered, they can be described as spiteful, ill-natured, and malicious. Spiteful, ill-natured, and malicious. That's Mr. Spigot. Let's continue. Mr. Spigot looked at me. Mr. William Robertson, have you done your homework? So he's growling at William. I looked at my shoes. I was in big trouble. No, Mr. Spigot, I answered. No, he yelled. At that very moment, Sam jumped to his feet like someone had just switched him on, like someone had just activated him. He walked around the class, pecking at the floor like a chicken. He starts doing this like a chicken. The class gasped. What is Sam doing? Some kids tried to smother a laugh. Sam was in big trouble. You couldn't fool around in Mr. Spigot's class and get away with it. Now you remember what William had told Sam? He told Sam that whenever you hear the word no, you will turn into a chicken for 30 seconds. And what did Mr. Spigot ask William? No? No, you didn't do your homework? So Sam heard the word no and turned into a chicken and goes. So he's in a trance again. Mr. Spigot started to go red in the face, right? He starts to get very, very angry, right? All those words that I taught you for angry, let's look at them once again. So Mr. Spigot gets infuriated. He gets incensed. He gets enraged. He starts fuming. He is outraged. Now, a child is behaving like a chicken in his class. Obviously, he will be fuming, right? He will be outraged. He'll be enraged. What's happening? He's behaving like a fool in my class. And the other children are trying to smother a laugh, right? They're trying to smother a laugh. To smother a laugh is to hold back a laugh, right? You're trying to stop yourself from laughing. So other words for smother a laugh are stifle and suppress. So all the kids are trying not to laugh loudly. So they're so they're smothering their laughter. They're stifling it. They're suppressing it. To stifle, to suppress, and to smother, right? That's what these words are. They're trying to hold back their laughter. So Mr. Spigot is obviously going to get angry. I tried to figure out what was going on. And then I realized Mr. Spigot and I had said no. So William said, no, I've not done my homework. And Mr. Spigot said, no. And Sam turned into a chicken. So Sam had gone back into his trance, just like I had told him. Sam really did think he was a chicken. So William really was a hypnotist, right? Because Sam really has become a chicken. No child, no matter how jocular, is going to behave like a clown in front of such a strict, ill-natured, bad-tempered, mean-spirited teacher, right? You would obviously be very, very frightened to do that. But Sam is in a trance. He can't control his thoughts or his actions. I can tell you one thing. It was the longest 30 seconds of my life. And there was nothing I could do except watch poor Sam behave like a chicken. Suddenly, Sam stopped. 30 seconds were up, right? So he stops going, so he stops all that because 30 seconds are up. He looked around with a silly expression. So Sam looks at everyone with a silly face. Oh, what's going on? Everyone was laughing, right? Everyone was going. They could no longer smother their laughter. They could no longer stifle or suppress it. because it was so funny. Except Mr. Spigot. Only Mr. Spigot was not laughing. He looked straight at me. He knew Sam was my mate, my best friend. So I'm going to teach you another term for best friend. It's bosom buddy. So Mr. Spigot is not being entertained by Sam's behavior, right? So he is obviously fuming and he knows that Sam is William's bosom buddy. Bosom buddy is a friend who's very close to you, right? Your bosom buddy is your best friend. That's bosom buddy. Right! You two think you can get out of doing your homework by acting like fools? So he's enraged and he says, "Oh, you think you're not going to you're going to get out of doing this homework? You haven't done your homework and you think you're going to act like fools and I will forget? Huh? That's not happening." He walked over to his desk and picked up 2 sheets of paper. He gave us one each, right? So he gave us extra homework. I groaned. Oh, it was maths homework. 20 difficult problems. So he gave them extra homework, which was 20 tough, difficult problems. I'm going to teach you other words for tough and difficult and complicated. So these problems were complicated. They were convoluted mathematics problems. They were intricate mathematics problems. So you have complicated, convoluted, and intricate. Complicated, convoluted, and intricate. So when your mathematics problem requires you to use your head and you are required to do so much of solving, right? So it's a complicated mathematics problem. It is convoluted. Okay, repeat after me. Convoluted. Intricate. Now, Sam had been in a trance all this while, right? He didn't know what was going on. "Why, Mr. Spigot? Why are you giving me extra homework? I haven't done anything." Now, he doesn't know he was behaving like a chicken. "No," said Mr. Spigot. "What?" So now Mr. Spigot said no to Sam again. That no, you don't know what you were doing. But he said no. And no activates Sam's trance. Oops. Mr. Spigot didn't get to finish his sentence. As soon as Mr. Spigot said the word no, Sam went back to thinking he was a chicken. He hopped up onto the front desk and squatted down, right? So he sat like this. He squatted down like this, like a chicken, right? And he put his elbows out like wings and flapped them. So he's doing this like a chicken. And he behaved like a chicken laying an egg. He's like, ugh. So he's behaving like this, like a chicken. The whole class was in fits, right? All the children start laughing loudly. They're going, oh, what is Sam doing? Right? So Sam was bouncing up and down like a chicken. So the whole class is guffawing. Guffawing is roaring with laughter. They're laughing loudly and heartily. Look at them. Right? They're guffawing. They're laughing loudly and heartily. Mr. Spigot picked up 2 more sheets of sums. Right now, because of Sam's trance and the children guffawing, Mr. Spigot gets even more enraged. He picks up even more 2 sheets of sums, right? And he gives them 2 more sheets of some convoluted, intricate, complicated mathematics sums. He held out 1 sheet of paper under Splinter's nose. So he takes a sheet of paper and hands it over to Splinter. Splinter pecked at his hand. Now he's still behaving like a chicken. So he starts pecking at Mr. Spigot's hand. Imagine if this is Mr. Spigot's hand. So Sam goes, so he starts pecking and he hurts Mr. Spigot's hand with his teeth. "Ouch!" shouted Mr. Spigot. So he's going, right, at Mr. Spigot's hand, and Mr. Spigot gets hurt. Suddenly, Sam got up because 30 seconds were up, right? So 30 seconds are up, so Sam gets up again. He blinked. He stood up on the desk. He was in a trance. He doesn't know what he was doing. Mr. Spigot was so furious that he couldn't speak. He was so enraged, right? He was fuming. He was incensed. He was infuriated. He was outraged. And I believe Myra gave me this word livid. Thank you, Myra. Livid. That's perfect. So he's livid. So he went back to the desk and grabbed a handful of problem sheets, more convoluted, more intricate problems. And he gave us these sums. You two boys can leave my class, he said. And if those sums are not all finished correctly by tomorrow morning, you two will be expelled from school. So he says, if you're not going to finish them, you're out of school tomorrow. I'll ensure you're expelled, like those other children are expelled. I found Raman and went back home, right? So Sam and William are going back home. Remember, they've hidden Raman near the school somewhere. So they found him again and they're walking back home. It was raining, right? It starts raining. It starts drizzling a little. Listen, I said to Sam, I have to put you in a trance to stop you going into your chicken act every time I say no. So William tells Sam, I need to do this because every time I say no, you become a chicken. But now again, William said no to Sam, right? He said no. Too late. Sam started to cluck and peck. So he starts pecking at the footpath. And he's pecking at everything. A couple of snails were on the footpath. Some snails were on the footpath. Sam was hungry, right? Sam was hungry. He was ravenous. He was famished. He was very, very hungry. He was ravenous. He was famished. Other words for hungry. And now because he thinks he's a chicken and chickens eat snails, Sam eats the snail! Ew! So sorry for this, children. This is so disgusting. It's revolting. It's repulsive. But he thinks he's a chicken and he eats the snail because he's hungry. He's ravenous. He's starving. He's famished. All right? So hungry and starving, you already know. And two other words are ravenous and famished. Ravenous and famished. And he swallowed the snail in one gulp. And then he ate another snail and another snail in 30 seconds. Oh no, Sam! I yelled. I had to do something. Before 30 seconds were up. When I count to 3, I yelled. You will be your old self again. You will not be a chicken when anyone says no. And you will not remember anything about being a chicken. I took a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. So he tells Sam that when I count to 3, you will not turn into a chicken when anyone says no. So he changes this aspect, right? But he hypnotizes him and he says this to him. And he also tells him that you will also not remember anything about being a chicken, right? He wants to protect his friend. It worked straight away. Sam woke up and blinked. He rubbed his eyes. What happened? He asked. I didn't get a chance to answer him. Raman flapped out of my arms and started squawking. So remember they had taken Raman and Raman was still in a trance. Even Raman woke up once William counted 1, 2, 3. He was his old self again. Raman came out of his trance when I counted to 3. I shouted. It was the numbers. Raman understands numbers. Now, if you remember from the start of the story, Raman understands numbers, right? If you tell him, show me 4, peck 4. So he goes, right? So since William counted one, two, three. Even Raman came out of his trance. Poor old Sam wasn't interested anymore. So he wasn't interested in the hypnosis havoc that had taken place. He waved the sheets of sums in my face. So he showed me all those convoluted, intricate, complicated mathematics problems. We have to do all of these by tomorrow, he groaned. Oh, we are dead meat. My parents will be enraged if we are expelled from school. They could get expelled, remember? So now they have to somehow complete these sheets and sheets of convoluted, intricate mathematics problems. Come to my place after tea. So he said, after tea time, come home. We will stay up all night and finish our mathematics problems. Now, Sam was very, very worried. He was extremely worried. He was very anxious, right? And yes, let's see what happens tomorrow in the story, right? So this is the first part of the hypnosis havoc. Let's find out what happens in the hypnosis havoc tomorrow. All right, so we're going to do part 2 tomorrow. But in the meantime, do you have any questions for me? Do you want to ask me any questions? Um, so Rivan says, ma'am, why do all of your stories have a problem for the ending? Well, it's about children who are overcoming problems. So they have a problem here, but let's hope they overcome it, right? Because they're going to work hard, hopefully, and complete these convoluted mathematics problems, and hopefully there's no more hypnosis havoc, or maybe there is. Let's find out tomorrow. All right, what time tomorrow? Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Indian Standard Time. There won't be a technical issue, I assure you. We're going to take care of it. So Apeksha Sharma asked, what does livid mean? Livid means very angry, enraged, incensed. All of those words. You can add livid to all of those words. So children, please don't worry. You can ask me any more questions, and I will. You can rest assured I'll answer all of them. But I hope you enjoyed this story. Right? It's a very fun story, and I look forward to narrating part 2 to you. Believe it or not, part 2 is even more entertaining than part 1. So Prachi Narang says, will you send the link? Yes, you could just come to our YouTube channel and it will be right on top, our live stream. Don't worry. Thank you so much for your compliment. All right. So no, Vidita, we're just going to be having it tomorrow. So we're going to be doing part 1 today and we're going to be doing part 2 tomorrow. However, Monday onwards, we're beginning our annual programs, our creative writing and reading programs. So if you're in the age range of 5 to 17 and you want to improve your vocabulary, you want to work on your English in a fun manner, you can come for that class. All right? So Arav says, what does eminent mean? Eminent is famous, right? Renowned, that's eminent. Eminent is famous or renowned. All right, Saisha. Thank you so much for your question. All right, children. So we're done for the day. And even during the story, I think I kept answering most of your questions. And I'm going to see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. See you, children. Bye bye.